No guest this week. So, Frank, you can't fuck this up, so go for it.
All right, I'm going to try. We have a great show lined up tonight. We have the Pat Oates POS show with co-hosts Pat Oates and Bobby Timbora. Take it away, Pat.
You didn't fuck it up. You said Bobby's name. You did it.
Dude, you nailed it, Frank. You came in fired up today, and I got to tell you,
ready.
In a rare change of events, I will not be going after Frank at all this episode because before the podcast, he said, and one of the funniest things I think I've ever heard, I won't give any of the details. All I'll say is, quote, I don't know what he dresses up as. I just know him as a shitty comedian, end quote. And it just made me laugh so hard. Frank, you're the man.
It's fun. I listen. For the show, is it fun when you two argue back and forth? Yeah, it is. Is it fun when all of us argue back and forth? Great. But when two of your guys' evils can match together, it's one of my things that makes me smile the most. And just before the show, saying that, just me saying, hey, this person felt like coming on. Both of your opinions of why they cannot was beautiful. And even if you know who you are, who gives a fuck? Anyway, I don't care. Frank, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. You know, I'm all psyched for Thursday night, this Thursday, the 3rd of February.
Now, just so people know, right now, it is February 1st. It is a Tuesday. It is 6:30. So as of right now, you don't see any illnesses or craziness stopping you from actually performing?
Nothing that I can't overcome.
And that's awesome that you're talking about overcome. Overcoming in Black History Month, the beginning of it is amazing. There's nothing better than white men living longer and fulfilling their dreams than you doing comedy while Black people don't get an opportunity. So I'm happy you could overcome.
You just brought me down 2 notches, man.
No. I still called you white.
Yeah. No. What the fuck, Pat?
I mean, where's this negative attitude coming
Whoa.
Yeah,
I called you white.
Such a positive influence on my life.
Yeah, man, we come in here ready to have fun
and
you're
personally.
Frank.
And now you got to bring me down, and I'm sure it's going to affect Bobby any second now.
No, man, I'm with you, Frank. We were in here having a good time, shucking and jiving. Then Debbie Downer over there, gray rain cloud has to go.
Man. Woof.
I just know Frank's going to die, and one of these days I'll be right.
Finally, you're going to get something right.
Exactly.
I would start billing all of these as potentially my last show, Frank. And not in the death sense, but just like how bands do. This is the Metallica last tour. You could milk that for the rest of your life if you wanted to.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. What I'm looking for is the ultimate podcast. So when I die, you guys could rebroadcast it and show it to the millions out there that want to see it. I mean, even Alan Abel, who's been dead 3 years now, one of his movies that he did they're having a screening in Brooklyn tomorrow. Tonight. That's right. It was tonight.
It must be important since you're here on this podcast instead.
Yeah. You know, that's why I didn't go. But I mean, he's still relevant after all these years.
Want to make it clear once again, an old white man, now an old dead white man, is doing more things than Black people at the beginning of Black History Month. Just want to make that clear.
Frank, what if instead of a last podcast, we did a last prank, right? And you just kind of did hang on, hear me out here. You just did like a giant Ponzi scheme where you took all this money from a bunch of people, but left the money to somebody you didn't like. So when you died, you just left all that fraudulent money to him and he had to deal with all the legal ramifications.
You know, I like it. I mean, that's brilliant, Bobby. I mean, I think that's a good one. I mean, there's so many holes in it, though. I mean, one of the problems is what happens if you get caught before you die? That's a problem.
Frank, you're 80. You're 83. You know how many times when my grandfather was 83, he got caught shoplifting from the grocery store and things like that and just went, I'm old. I didn't know. I thought I was doing the books right. Because Frank, you're with it so much more than any other 80-year-old I've ever met. Like you.
How many 80-year-olds have you met though? Like, to be fair.
That's right.
Like at least 10.
What? Where are you hanging out? Compound Media.
Yeah.
Do they have a senior division?
Yeah, it's called Cumia and Pat Dixon. They're old.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they got to be in their 60s, right?
Listen, Bill Schultz is so old they had to move his show to the afternoon so he could have 3 lunches. They were doing everything over there. No young people allowed. Bobby's the only one. They took him off the air. They're like, no, can't have you. You're too young. I was going to be a young whippersnapper if I came in at 47. Now, Frank, here's the prank I think you should do. Bobby, what? You know Anthony Zenhauser, correct?
Yes.
Right. He's been on the show before, comedian. He's got a podcast he does, not a podcast, but like a show where he pretends to be the news or something like that. He's not doing a Patreon. He's doing some kind of, he's just doing a GoFundMe for it. Right. So here's the thing, Frank. I want you to make a huge donation to his GoFundMe and then declare that you are a Nazi and see if he actually takes the money as you declare that I am a Nazi. I want death to all the Jews, and all my money I want to go to Anthony Zenhauser because he feels the same way.
He does. That's his feelings?
No, but it would be fun to see what he can do with the money. Yeah. And then you make sure when you make the donation, it's on a fraudulent stolen credit card that they have to take the money back from.
And if you need help, figuring out,
you're not really a Nazi.
If you need help figuring out how to steal a credit card, Frank, I know a comedian in Florida who could help you out.
I thought you were his best friend. Why would you say that?
Just because I'm somebody's best friend doesn't mean I can't say he's talented. Come on now, Pat. We all have our skills.
I don't know. I saw Damian Rogers posted a thing. He posts everything. Damian Rogers is either great at making clips or great at making suicide notes on Instagram. That's the two things that Damian Rogers does. But he did post a thing where Cumia did the ultimate joke about Zumach, so now there's no more. It's just we can't do it anymore. Now we're just copying that old man on your network.
No. We could come up with something that would not involve me getting arrested. I mean, there's got to be something out there that we could do.
Frank, you're gonna die. So you're not gonna do much time in jail.
But the last whatever time I have left,
pussy
I don't
about
want
this.
it in jail.
Go to jail for us. What is the big fucking deal?
You're not going to go to jail. You're too old.
I'm going to frame him for murder.
Oh, Bobby?
No, not Bobby. I need Bobby around you.
Oh, me? No. I mean, who's going to die? Who did I murder?
Oh, it's not real.
Oh, then forget about it. No,
right. Yeah. I mean, who would you like to die? Me?
No.
I'll fake my death if you fake the murder.
Been there, done it with Alan Abel.
You know what? No offense. I'm better than Alan Abel. Google Alan Abel, Google me. I come up more.
What if
dead?
Yep. I don't care.
We framed you. What if we framed you for murdering Alan Abel? Like, new DNA surfaced. Frank took him out.
Oh, that's a great screenplay. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a story. That is a story.
There you go.
Well, kind of like, the opposite.
I was jealous.
No.
I was jealous,
like
and at 92 he decided to retire, and I had no avenue to do my stuff.
Oh no, I thought maybe you were his secret lover.
That's one option, but that's another great option and definitely a subplot of either story, Pat. But what I'm thinking is no, like his prank was he faked his own death. So your final prank will be faking his murder. Like you didn't actually murder him. You just set it up to make it look like you murdered Alan Abel.
I think the ultimate prank, I don't know if you know this about Frank, I hate to reveal this. Alan Abel was never a real person. Frank faked his whole life.
That's right.
That was just Frank dressed up as two guys. That was Frank's Fight Club. He was both of them at the same time. All right. Frank, I'm as healthy as you now.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry to hear that.
I went to the I had last week off, so I went to the doctor's office. And like normal, I hadn't gone to a doctor in a year because of COVID. Right. I didn't get to do my physicals and all that kind of shit. And I've been trying. My new thing is like once again every year trying to get the paperwork I need filled out so I can drive, which the world will not let me. There's your conspiracy. Why people won't fill paperwork. Anyway, I go to the doctor. I've told people on the podcast before, Frank, you know this. I have high blood pressure.
Right.
But when I got tested for it this time, it was a newer doctor, and he goes, "Oh no, 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 no!" He starts like walking out of the room, I'm like, "Come back! I know it's high." He's like, "No, you're going to die." I'm like, "I'm not." First of all, this is terrible bedside manner, but he was very worried. So they had to up my blood pressure medication, but also give me a blood pressure thing. Like I have to test it at home now myself.
Right.
So have you ever had to do that?
Yeah.
Bobby, have you ever had to do your own?
I got a
Yeah.
machine. Yeah.
Right.
I've
So if you have the
given my
regular,
own, given it to others. I'm basically a doctor. Go on.
you are basically, I always look at you as Dr. Timbo, whatever,
Right.
MD, but mostly drugs. That's what MD stands for, but it's fine. But when you do this, the one I have, it's got the little digital thing, and then you put it on your arm. And now the worst part was I had to put it on my arm, and you're supposed to sit patiently and quietly for 5 minutes and then do it to give you the ultimate score or whatever it is. I can't do that. Like I literally, I sat there and I was like waiting around and I was fidgeting and getting stressed out. And I look at the clock, a minute hadn't even passed. I thought 5 minutes passed. I can't. So then I take my temperature, even at stressed out, whatever. My temperature, whatever it's called, the blood pressure. You know the top, Bobby. Do you know what a regular blood pressure score is?
Yeah, 120/80.
Okay,
right.
I've never had that. Like my bottom number and top number always had. My worst ever. A couple of years ago, I went to a hospital, and my top number was 200, and my lower number was 110.
Were you in pain?
No.
Okay.
That was not good. How did you feel? I mean, that's not good at all. Without saying too many things, Frank, it was the night before like my life went to hell for a while. So yeah, so even then I didn't even realize it was other things were on my mind. But like, yeah, so I was what it was, and I was supposed to be on blood pressure medication for a while anyway. I got off it, went back on it, whatever. So I went and took my blood. When I went to the doctor and the guy was like, "Oh no," I was like that. It was 180/110. And they're like, "We may need to up your meds." I'm like, "All right." They go, "Well, you exercise." I'm like, "Yeah, I walk 4 to 8 miles a day, depending on whatever, because I can't drive to work. I eat well. I'm not at the thinnest I've been, but I'm at a good weight for me. I'm at 200 pounds right now, and I'm usually pretty happy right at that weight. 5'11", 200 pounds. I'm fine with it. I mean, obviously on charge, I can be a little lower, but I'm happy with the hours I work and when I eat. I'm happy with the weight I'm at. So, but they said nothing else was bad at all. When I took my own, after they upped it up from 100 milligrams twice a day to 200 milligrams, my top number was, even stressed out, was 160, but the bottom one is still 110. So it's so today the doctors called and said we need to do a follow-up because they did blood, and I'm like, all right, so I have to go and do a follow-up. But as they called, they had also suggested to me a couple of neurologists so I could talk to someone about getting the scan for my head to prove I don't pass out in cars and that I was just drunk 6 years ago and I should be allowed to drive. That's the whole issue. Doctors won't sign a paper because I have to prove that I was just a drunk and I don't have neurology issues, but they have to scan for that. My regular doctor wouldn't do it, whatever. Finally, a neurologist said yes to that. Also, I need an eye doctor's appointment to have the DMV fill that out too, to prove my vision is good, because now it's been so many years to do that. Right.
So all day, I had today off. Now my February 17th, I feel like you, Frank. I'll be going to 3 doctors and then doing a comedy show with you and my therapist all on February 17th.
You're going to be in rare form. I mean, because you're going to be validated that you're healthy enough to get a driver's license.
Or I go to the doctor from the blood test and neurologist and find out I have the most cancer of all times.
And then you just go on stage and you perform the ultimate R. Bud Dwyer.
Yeah, that's called a normal day for Pat.
That could be an epic show, and the R might stand for retard. Like, I'm not sure there, because I might just go.
I mean, no bars hold. Pat's saying it like it is.
No,
I doubt very much you got a stage 4 cancer in any of your body parts. I'm positive about that.
Somewhere someone's like, well, it's the only stage he can get on at this point, stage 4 cancer. Fuck you. People that tell me I can't do comedy anymore. That's fun. I
can't wait till the neurologist pulls you aside and goes, dude, I don't know how to tell you this, but you actually do have a tumor in your brain. that makes you pass out whenever you're driving a car.
I said that to my daughter today, and she goes, "That's funny, but can you not?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, my bad." I was like, and I said, I actually put it. I said, imagine if they said, "I've never actually fallen asleep. My body's just passing out, and it happens to do it at night." And I go, and then I also have fever dreams. And they say to me, I say, "Well, it's never affected my comedy." And they go, "What do you mean? You've never done comedy?" I'm like, "What? Like that's you passing out thinking you've done comedy. You don't have a podcast. You're just this guy." They're like, "Oh no, just a guy."
A lot of dreaming going on.
Yeah, not even good because I'm just doing mediocre in my dream.
That's right.
You kind of go back to reality. You just hear Frank's voice like, "Pat, come back. Comics Mohegan Sun."
I watching there's a TV show on Netflix called Archive 81. I just finished the season. It's really fucking good. I don't want to spoil it for anybody if they want to watch it, but there's like two different worlds and they can hear them talking to each other like through other worlds, but they can't see them. And that's what it would be like Frank just going, "Hey, one guy didn't bring his 4 people. What do we do?" It's like that's
Let him go up anyway.
How are you, Bobby? How's Compound with all the moves and switches?
Yeah, shit changes. It'll be all right. He'll make it work.
What's the new name of Morning?
Back Talk. It's
Back
gonna be called
Talk.
Morning again. There's a lot of backlash on the name Back Talk.
Yeah, why they can still be Morning?
I don't make decisions, man. I just push buttons.
Like when you watch Chrissy Mayr's show, there's not always a wet spot.
No, there is. Somebody has to go spray her chair before the show.
It's in a writer. On the Anthony Cumia show, there's not always Anthony Cumia. You could call it one thing and not provide it.
That's true. That is true. But it is always his show.
Yes. Yeah, that is correct. Or how did I just forget? Oh, in hot water, they never have hot water.
No, that's true. But they are always in hot water.
Not at this point, I don't think so. I think everyone expects them to be. They'd be in hot water if they were just like nice.
That is true. People would be angry. At this point, like it's just kind of a wait and see thing. You know, they're filling in things here and there. We'll see what happens.
I just don't know why you try to ruin a brand. It's like they worked enough to build the thing. Keep the name. Morning in the afternoon. You know what I mean? You put in the
Yeah, and that's in the work too. Who knows? The reality is, I don't think there's anybody outside of Compound aware of Morning. As is, I don't think there's anybody who watched Morning that isn't like, oh, that's just Morning. You know what I mean? So
what do you mean? The legions of the Gutting the Sacred Asshole podcast, they all know about it.
All those bots in Indonesia or whatever you're saying.
And you know what? I didn't mean to call them ass. I couldn't remember the last part of the name.
I have a question.
What are they gutting?
My nerves. Sacred cow.
Sacred cow. I apologize for the asshole. Go ahead, Frank.
I just wanted to know, what about the sponsors that they have for all these shows that are disappearing or reappearing?
They're all Cumia sponsors. It doesn't matter.
It's a network, yeah. So the network gets sponsored and they don't care. It's all good. Everything's good there. Me personally, things are all right. I think my sleep schedule could converted to Catholicism, Pat.
Nice. Good job.
You know why?
No, I'm waiting for the setup. Good.
Because it's fucked, boy.
Yeah. I'm not even pluralize that. Fucks, boys. That is good. Oh, before we start our first story, you know who else? I got a message. I always like when I get these. I got another drunken Mike O'Donnell message.
Hell yeah. What'd he say?
He just wrote, it was like the day after he was on. Let me find this thing. He sent me 2 things. One's going to be one of our stories because he was nice enough to share something with me. But all I got was, Pat, this is January 28th. So like what, last week? It just goes at 12:21 a.m. And I'm guessing this is after a shit in a hat. It's going, Pat, I'm drunk. You rule. Please do shit in a hat. And I just write back, haha, I'm gonna, and you rule. And then I got a smiley face. And then I got a notification that he had posted something on my wall. And he had taken symbols and made a penis with balls on my wall.
Mike's the shit.
He's literally, I really enjoy every week. Whenever Frank can make it, it's wonderful. But the fact that the three of us or the two of us get together, it's my highlight of the week most times. But one of the bonuses that have come from this podcast is me learning that Mike O'Donnell exists and that he is now one of my favorite human beings of all time. I would get mad, as Frank knows, 99% of people in the world can message me something drunk and I would hate them for the rest of their lives. But when Mike messages me, it just brings a smile to my, and I'm happy every time. I'm like, I'm good for you that you're drunk, my friend.
He's always happy and he loves you when he's drunk. He's like, Pat.
Yeah. He's a tremendous fellow. And speaking of that, once again, I'm going to do one more apology because I noticed that while I was promoting all the podcasts last week, Avery Quinn did not like any of the things that I promoted. So Bobby, maybe you need to reach out and let him know once again. Next time he comes on, we will never do that again. So
yeah, or maybe we just look at a lost cause and go, hey, we learned some lessons on this.
I like that kid too, and I think he's pretty funny on the show. He did add to it. Frank, you remember Avery? Remember he was the one that the fire drill. We had him back on for a Patreon show.
Oh,
and I was being me. There was a joke I wasn't even really there, and I jumped on it, and then I just hammered the fucking joke for 45 minutes. And I didn't let it go. And Mike kept laughing and egging me on. You know, like when a bully had, like in A Christmas Story, there's that bully and that little guy in the, little toady guy. Like Mike was being the little toady guy egging me on. I'm not blaming him, but Bobby was trying to stop it. But I don't know. I think for Black History Month, I'll be nice. That's my thing.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to talk about pedophilia, and I'm going to try not to be racist in my humor. For this month.
It's going to be a light month.
No, I'll find other things to do. I can do it.
No, you can't.
I think I can. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, or maybe I'll just do those things on the Patreon.
Fair enough. We'll keep it to the page.
Well, what that means is we can't decide which shows on the Patreon until after we do them.
Yeah, until we.
Wait.
Or if we know we have a good one, it just means you're going to be super racist.
If we're like really promoting the heck out of it, get over there. If you're a grand wizard, get over to the Patreon. It's going to be great, or grand, I guess. But Frank, I've got a bunch of stories lined up, but we're going to be doing 2 shows today. So because of that, and I'm sure you've got a story since you've got young, sexy Deloise back there. Mm-hmm. Do you want to start off with your story?
Yeah, it's personal, but I think I'm looking for an answer.
Is it as personal as last week's "I'm a diva bitch" in the hotel or the hospital?
No. Well, it's more real. It's
more. Bobby, did you leave us?
I'm here. I just have to change something.
No, that's fine. So make sure you're
it's more. It's my life versus just a little snapshot of my life from last week. This encompasses my whole life, basically. And I can't figure it out. And I need help trying to figure out, who the demon is in this.
The demon?
Yeah.
The demon. I like the demon.
All right. You ready?
I'm Bobby ready for demons?
No, I got to grab some holy water quick. Let me say a prayer, Frank. I'm going to bless this. I'll be back.
Okay.
You know what? Fuck the church. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, don't say that. Now you're just inviting demons in.
That's what I'm trying to do. My new thing is I'm going to invite demons.
Losing weight.
Wait, hang on a second. Just go back to pedophilia then, Pat. That's not better for me.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Demons. No, because demons it's like rectangles and squares. Some rectangles are squares, not all squares. You know what I'm saying. Take it, Frank.
Bobby.
I don't know. Real quick, Frank. I don't know if you know this, Bobby, but pedophilia has not always been a thing. It wasn't always around. It's only been around the last couple of years. Demons have always been around, so I should be allowed to talk about them.
Right. And Bobby, I don't, I'm concerned that you may be right now finishing off something you started before the podcast started, and you're off camera, and I don't understand that. Unless
you don't understand that. You're here once a month.
What am I doing off camera, Frank?
Yeah.
You think I'm smoking in a hotel?
No, masturbating.
No. I think you're finishing off something you started before.
Hold on.
No, a fist pump, maybe, but not a fist fight.
Frank, is that just me? The sound is awful. Is that you guys?
Yeah. We kind of lost it there for a second.
It was, but you wouldn't stop talking. Even though it was terrible, you kept talking.
I don't know. I sounded terrible. I thought it was you talking that sounded terrible.
No, it was you. no one else was talking.
But I heard myself perfectly.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Go ahead, tell your fucking story.
All right. So my whole life I've been dealing with losing weight. Clinically, I am obese. I've been obese 99% of my adult life. And it's been a quest of mine to lose weight. And I've tried everything. I mean, it started out when I joined the Marines, I weighed 180 pounds. And the Marine doctor told me lose 10 pounds before you go to Paris Island in 3 months. So I go home and tell my mother that, and my mother was an emotional Italian eater. And I showed up at Paris Island, 226 pounds. And that started my decline, that I could not control my weight. For the last 60 years, I've been dealing with this. Every day I wake up and I try to figure out how to lose weight. At the beginning, I hired nutritionists. I must have hired 35, 40 different nutritionists over the years. And I figured it out. Over the years, I lost, I can't believe this, 1,252 pounds.
Right, but you also gained it.
Well, I gained more than that. That's
right.
The problem. I gained more than that. So, I mean, I'm losing. I can't believe that. I went through all kinds of diet programs. I must have paid for about 45, 50 different diet programs that cost me over $100,000 over the years. And I can't do anything right. I even 5 years ago, I found this fat doctor that injected women's urine into my belly.
Real quick, Frank, one question.
What?
Was he a fat doctor or was he a doctor that specialized in losing weight?
A doctor that specialized in losing weight.
I thought you were just taking a shot.
I would never go to a fat guy to lose weight. I mean, no way. So, I mean, I inject this women's urine in my belly 22 straight days, and the only thing I got was a urinary tract infection. I didn't lose a pound. It was fucking awful. I went to a hypnotist at one time. I'm serious, Pat. Don't laugh. This is serious shit.
You tell everything like you do your act on stage. You're doing it in the exact flow you do your act on stage.
Yeah, but I have never said these words on stage.
You always talk about weight loss, and you're always like, I couldn't believe that I did this thing. Just like this.
I'm being fucking honest right now. I went to a hypnotist 32 years ago. Went to a hypnotist 32 years ago to lose weight.
Mr. Regallo, question.
What?
When you were getting women's piss injected into your stomach,
right?
Was Alan Abel still alive? And is it possible he died before revealing that was a prank to you?
It was right around that time. Well, he was sick.
Dude, I think that might have been his final prank. I really think
yeah.
Just trust me. I just need you to keep, even if I pass, I need you to keep injecting piss into his stomach.
And also, to be clear, I know you didn't mean it, Frank, when you were yelling out all the stuff, but you did not say urinary tract infection. You said it like you love it. You said urinary tract affection, which is a whole new thing that I did not know existed.
No, Pat, you know me long enough. As long as I'm around the word, I accept it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't have to nail every word that comes out of my mouth. I mean, I do have it.
Apparently, you applied the same
I have all these different ailments, But here's the bottom line.
Hold on, that was a good joke by Bobby that just got
I didn't
lost.
hear it.
I know you were talking. It's fine. Let's let Frank tell his story, and then Bobby and I will shit on it.
Well, I'm finished. I just want to find out.
You're finished.
I'm going to give you the options, okay? Because I mean, this is a disaster. Every day I try to lose weight. I mean, I weigh now 20 pounds more than I did when I went into the Marine Corps, which is not good. But anyway, who's the piece of shit in this story? Let's be honest, is it science that tells us to be healthy, you have to be thin? I'm 80 years old. I'm healthier than Biden. I mean, I got more stuff going on than Biden has. And he's thin. I'm fat. He's
also
thin.
has the most stressful job in all the world.
Yeah.
Biden never streaked.
Try to ride Russia. See how stressful that is with those poor people. Another thing. Oh
boy.
Is it the social consciousness out there that in order to be accepted, you have to be thin? Fat is shameful. And that's what I live with, that I'm fat and it's shameful to be fat.
Can I even take it a step further? Like being fat, like super fat, and just accepting it is more accepted than like being a guy who looks like he's on the way to either one direction or the other. Like I know you're doing your act. I used to do this in mine where it was like, I'm almost in shape. Like if I really just focused on the diet for about 2 months, I would look good. But being almost in shape is worse than just being fat because people are like, no, you're not trying. You know what I mean? Like it's that middle that pushes you in one direction or another.
But I'm serious about losing weight. I just spent $400 to get evaluated. I was on this stupid diet, 700 calories a day. For 1 week, I lost 11 pounds. And this office, the doctor, the nurses, all excited. I said, hold it a second. My diets are like a first date. I'm great at first dates. Wait until you come back for the second date. Yeah. The next week, I put on 2 pounds. I mean, it's ebb and flow. I put on, I lose, I put on. So my question is, should I just give up and be who I am and don't spend any more money on these fad diets or whatnot and accept that I'm a fat person? I'm obese. When I go to the doctor's office, they're going to look at the scale and say, you're obese, and just accept it. Bobby, what do you think?
So first things first, this is going to sound insulting, but I don't mean it in that way. So just let me finish my justification first. At 80 years old, Frank, you're fat for life at this point. Like, even if you follow a keto diet of 100 calories to a T and work out 3 times a day, like the weight's there, you're not going to be able to break down those years worth of fat and things like that. But I don't think I would give up on diets and whole. I would stop doing the fads. I'd stop paying money, but I would start doing like what makes you feel like you can go live your life. Because at this point, just eat what's going to help you feel active. I'm 30 years old and like I've come to the point where there are certain things I can't eat for lunch or my day's over. You know what I mean? So I would start doing things like that and just eat what makes you feel not healthy, but like you can go live life a little bit and focus on that because you made it. You crossed the finish line. And like, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat where I struggle with weight. It's not quite in the range you were at, but I'm constantly battling. Like you can notice on between weeks of the Pat Oates show, like a 10-pound fluctuation. And so I'm in the same boat. And it's one of those things where I just try to be healthy here. You know, like I do like what Pat says. I was running. I try to, do cardio 30 minutes a day or something. Make sure I'm doing the right things for my body. And if I put on a little extra weight, so be it. So I'm going to lose 5 years at the end of my life. You ever seen a 95-year-old? They're not having great years anyway. You know what I mean? Like I get where you're coming from, but I think you need to cut yourself some slack and just realize this is life now and I'm going to be good,
I appreciate that, Bobby. I sincerely appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, 2 things. One, there's no fucking choices a piece of shit, so I don't know what the fuck inspirational TV show this is, but I don't want to be on it. Where's the piece of shit choices?
Yeah, I told you, if you were listening instead of thinking about how do I pass a driving test, you would understand what I was saying. 1A.
1A. Fuck you, 2B.
Is it science? Okay. Is it science that tells us we have to be thin to be healthy? B, is it social where you have to be thin?
Those aren't pieces of shit. Those are things.
I will say, I did get a little irritated when you kept going. I've spent my whole life losing weight. It's like, I don't know if I'd use those words. Been trying to lose weight, but no, it's not science because they're trying to be healthy. That's their job. Like they're like, hey, this is how we get people to be as skinny as possible.
Yeah.
But to some extent, it is society. I think media portrayal of fat people and what's considered like acceptable to some fat people versus other fat people is kind of crazy. Like Kevin James.
Right.
Like a lot of his whole comedy is just based on the fact that he's fat and it's hilarious. But like if you applied those same principles to some women, like there are some who get away with it for sure and do it and are very funny. Fat Amy, what's her name? She just lost a bunch of weight, but like in the movie, she went as Fat Amy and like was slapstick heavy. But I think it's society kind of is like, oh, you can't be the serious.
Right.
Like even John Candy, like the meltdown scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was so impactful because it was the silly fat guy having a real moment. So I would say it's like kind of society a bit. But the biggest thing is you got to accept yourself. Nobody's going to accept you for you until you accept you for you, you know? So I think you got some work maybe with your emotions to do, not necessarily just on your body.
I appreciate that, Bobby. I mean, I think it's spot on. There's valid in a lot of those points. Now, unfortunately, we got to go to Pat for his take on it.
Just run 6 miles a day. Get your license taken away so you walk everywhere, and then eat stew when it's cold.
I can say all that. Frank, you're not the piece of shit in this. It's your parents, because they should have had a fucking girl, because you then
No, they did.
because
They did have a girl.
that's what I'm saying. Because you just whined like a fucking privileged white girl on Instagram. How come I'm not loved because I'm beautiful? Who cares if I'm big? And then you fucking, like a white privileged fuck, just told all these people that listen to us who are mostly poor how many millions of dollars you've wasted instead of just losing weight like a regular fucking, I've spent millions of dollars for things that don't work and it doesn't affect me at all. I'm fine. I'm still Frank. I can go to doctors. I can pay for everything. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I spent millions of dollars on cocaine. I spent millions of dollars on weight loss programs. Frank, you're an old white man. Never in your whole lifetime has anyone cared if a white guy was fat. Actually, at most of your prime times, that was a sign of power. When people are like, oh, he's heavy, he has money, he can be a mob boss the way you look. What do you care? You've made it to 80. And Bobby, great side note, you made me laugh harder than anybody because you just said to a man who lost his 100-year-old father-in-law, you ever see a 95-year-old? Yeah, he watched him for years die and be way thinner than him. So much thinner than him. And he didn't fucking spend a lot of money. He just drank vodka and listened to your whining mouth about your fat. That's what made him lose weight. So the piece of shit is your parents, because they should have had a fat girl, because then that fat girl would have been famous at this point, being all proud and being a supermodel in Sports Illustrated.
It's funny. I should have had a girl was the last thing Frank's dad yelled at him before he died. All the cocks you sucked, I should have had a girl.
You know something? You're right.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, Frank.
You nailed, Bobby, you nailed it today.
Yeah.
Tonight, you're on fire.
You are on
You're
fire,
getting everything right. You're getting everything right.
You're crushing it. But
Good job.
But Frank, that is, I mean, obviously, all jokes aside, it is frustrating with anyone trying to lose weight or do whatever. If you look back and look at the million times you failed it, but that's with everything, though. If you look back, like I'm making jokes about the blood pressure stuff, but how many times have I ignored this or that, whatever, and then you finally go, oh, if I did all this, I wouldn't have gone through that year, or medically if I did this, or in school if I did this. You learn from all this, and weirdly enough, Frank, who knows? Maybe all the kinds of diets you did, maybe all the different things you did to your body and moving things around is what's made you live to 80 and other people die at 65. You don't know. You've made it farther than most people do. You're way farther past the average age of regular death and COVID death. You beat them both.
Well, I mean, my goal was to live to 58 because my mother died at 57. So I
just wanted to beat your mom?
I just wanted to beat my mom. That's it.
Is that what your dad said too?
Well, I wasn't sure who my
your mom. I'll still do that joke, but I just won't do racist.
Because I was hoping my father wasn't my father. That's
well. Who would you rather be your father? It had to be somebody that's older than you and famous.
Oh, I mean,
put a lot of thought into this.
Basically, just consider the books of the Bible, Frank.
No,
Matthew, Mark,
I don't
Luke,
believe that.
John.
Frank.
I believe in what's his name again? He just turned 92.
Dick Van Dyke?
No. He's too song and dance man. I like a man to be my father. Somebody I look up to.
Jerry Stiller?
No, he was in what was some of his movies? Oh God.
This is Frank tries to remember movies.
That's right. Try to remember. Not Gene. Oh, you know what? Oh, he's dead now. Gene Wilder. I would love to have.
He's been dead for a while, and right, I think you're older than him.
No.
Yeah, I think so, Frank.
No.
I think so.
I just thought he was, he wasn't good looking. He had a scrawny voice.
You want your dad to be hot? Why do you need your dad to be hot?
Gene Hackman. That's who.
What year were you born, Frank?
41. Gene Hackman.
I mean, he couldn't have been your dad, Gene Wilder.
Why? How old is he?
He was born in 33.
Oh. All right. Never forget him. Gene Wilder. Not Gene Wilder. Gene Hackman.
How about like famous people, from that era in politics, like Billy the Kid?
Bobby, are you paying it?
The Great.
Bobby, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
It has to be someone named Gene.
Oh, where did
Gene
that come
Kelly.
From?
He said Gene Hackman. No, I mean Gene Wilder. And then he's like, I want my dad to be Gene the Dancing Machine. But that's funny because one thing Frank can't fit into is his jeans. Because he's a fat fuck.
But no. You don't understand. I have about 7 different wardrobes. It doesn't matter how much weight I put or lose. I might have bell bottoms on, but I got a wardrobe for that weight.
You wear bell bottoms?
Yeah.
What? I've never seen you in bell bottoms.
Well, I was never at that weight. I mean, that's why. If I ever get down to that weight, I might be dead 4 months before I can fit into them. But I have bell bottoms.
Bobby, there's one question you and I both should have asked, and I just thought about it now. This would have weighed in. Sorry, no pun intended. Weighed in on our answer here. Frank, at this point in your life, are Bobby and I pallbearers?
I'm going to leave that up to Nancy.
Because if we are, lose weight.
That's a you, Pat, not a Bobby.
No. I'll be cremated so you can each.
Yeah, I know. But if we have to carry your body, I've always made this joke, but my whole goal in life is to make my coffin lighter for my kids. That's what I'm trying to do.
Frank, if you get cremated, can I smoke you?
Yeah.
Wait, do you mean like with brisket or weed?
Weed.
Because I want to put Frank on brisket.
Nah, that's weird. That's cannibalism.
No, it's
Weed's
ash.
like absorb some of his essence and then.
Yeah, it's ash. It's not cannibalism. I'm not going to eat the ashes. No one eats ash. You're cooking with it.
I'm just going to take one hit of the Frank joint and then be like, fuck, now I feel like sucking dick. It's the wrong part of Frank.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Is ash a thing these days?
What do you mean? Is it a thing? You think it was only during the Holocaust?
No,
I think that's pronounced with an H, Frank.
Yeah. Frank needs hash.
No, hash. I understand hash. No, ash.
Oh,
what do you mean is it a thing? It's always a thing. When things burn, they turn to ash. They have a whole Wednesday about it.
No. There was a drug that I remember smoking that was called
hash.
No, hash is something else. Hash.
That's the drug. You're talking about ash, the thing that burns.
No, I know that.
Or the nickname for a girl named Ashley.
Thanks, Frank. I'm going to be Googling that after the show. So thank you. I'm going to figure out what ash was, and I'm going to try
let me know. Because it rings a bell in my little brain up there.
It does sound like something they would use to describe like a type of weed or something. So
yeah,
I'll definitely check it out.
It was a type of weed.
Ash is a plant. The bark and leaf are used to make medicine. People take ash for fever, arthritis, gout, constipation, fluid retention, and bladder problems. It is also used as a tonic.
Nice. And you can smoke it.
Yeah.
It says, but what does it do to the body? Can you consume it? Inhalation of volcanic ash can be very detrimental to human health. Well, that's it. That's volcanic ash. I don't think you want to do that one.
No.
But what's the side effects of eating it? Large amounts of eating it can cause stomach irritation and pain, vomiting, queasiness, diarrhea, kidney damage, and other side effects. There is enough reliable information to know if dried or cooked mountain ash berries are safe or what the side effects might be. So I don't know what you're talking about, Frank, but there's nothing.
Something I have to listen. I'm a big boy. I might have just screwed up hash.
Well, I think if you had smoked more hash and ate less corned beef hash,
now
you wouldn't be in this problem.
People who dive deep on this podcast will remember Flash. And frankly, it's been too long since we've had Flash on. We got to have him on with Frank one episode.
Well, he was a retail guy. He wasn't a regular guy. We could have him on this, but he was never on this.
Yeah. but I'm gonna reach out to him because he would know if there was something called Ash that was a drug. Frank, he did
Right.
it like you. So I will find out from him and I'll
Okay.
report back next week.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. You know what, Frank? You've been on a roll tonight, so I'm gonna assume you were right.
I just proved him wrong.
Yeah. Let's let him have a win, Pat. This could be his last episode.
Are you using a
Never
street
is.
dictionary? Are you using a street dictionary or using one of those?
Yeah, Frank, on the right of me, I have a street dictionary. That's what I have there. By the way, it's called an urban dictionary. You're racist. I'm not racist anymore. I don't say the streets. I say urban. And I think white people are lesser than blacks. That's why I say suburban when I talk about them.
Fair. That's just Latin, Frank. You know Latin.
Yeah.
That's what they spoke when you were born.
Like subtract. It's like urinary tract infection, but inside a submarine. It's fine. Bobby, we've wasted a lot of time on this podcast talking about Frank being fat.
I enjoyed it.
But
I feel like, Frank, you feel better, though.
Do I feel better or does Frank feel better?
Does Frank feel better?
Oh, yes. No, I got it off my chest, number one. Bobby, you were thoughtful. You put some thought into it. You didn't just try to go for the joke. You analyzed.
Oh, I'm sorry. On a comedy podcast, I didn't do the Oprah thing like Bobby did.
Excuse me.
Is that you at the buffet line? Excuse me. Excuse me.
The dessert line. Yeah, I forgot one thing.
Like, why do you have that background picture?
Fatso. Great
yeah, but
movie.
you can explain it.
Okay, it's a great movie.
I know that, but it had nothing to do with your fucking story.
You want to bet it does? This poor guy he's trying to lose
weight. No, it's
weight
a movie, but it's not about you.
Well, I when I was his age, I looked like him.
You started off by saying this is a personal story. And then you never mentioned the fucking tie-in I thought you had with Dom DeLuise.
Bobby, I just want to say you've come up big tonight in my book.
No, Frank, I feel like you carried the podcast tonight too, buddy. The two of us, we did great.
Oh, good. You came up big. He's making a short joke, by the way, Bobby, just so you know.
It's all good. He let him have it.
No, I mean, he just
let him have it like he does with cake and pie because Bobby was just calling you fat.
Hang on.
Frank.
This might actually be good because I could talk about something that happened to me this weekend.
Oh, no, good. Is it going to have nothing to do with your background?
I mean, no, it'll have something to do with my background. So, Frank,
what?
As a large gentleman, you ever take lots of? Let's say you had a night out. Maybe you were doing a comedy show. You got home at like 4 a.m, ordered a pizza, ate the whole pizza.
Right.
What would happen to you at like 11 o'clock in the morning?
The problem is that I don't need that much sleep. Even now, I mean, I just get it. If I'm working and I get home 2 o'clock.
I mean, in your stomach, what would need to come out of your stomach?
I got a pretty good stomach. It's used to that type of eating intake. It eats a lot of pizza.
Your stomach is great.
A lot of junk food. It eats a lot of desserts. So my stomach has.
Your stomach doesn't eat. You eat.
My stomach has been drank.
Shut up.
Bobby,
so my issue was after the show Friday, it snowed. You guys know about this blizzard. It hit you guys too, right?
Right.
So I decided to stay at a hotel in New Jersey, figuring, you know what? I'll be snowed in Saturday. I'll be there for the show Saturday night. And I'll have a place that I can shower, shit, and sleep, right? Those are the big three.
Right.
I eat all that food. I'm hungover. I wake up to a note slid under my door that says the toilet is not available until 12:30. Please do not use the toilet. And like, I'm like, all right, that's frustrating, but I get it, right, Pat? You've been there.
Wait, 12:30, like 12
like
hours?
An hour
or just like an hour?
Dude, yeah, like an hour.
Okay, so not like the noon the next day.
No.
You have to wait an hour.
Noon the next day. Yeah, like it's the day after. So like I went to bed, woke up, it's now 11 and an hour and a half.
Oh, okay, but still, it's not like it wasn't like 1 a.m. you got this and you have to wait 12 hours.
No, I don't know when I got it. I think probably around 9 in the morning if I had to guess. So I called down at 12:30. I'm like, hey, can I use the bathroom? They're like, nah, it's gonna be about another hour and a half. I'm like, all right, cool, no biggie. So I go, I find the gym, I exercise a little bit, come back in. I'm able to walk across the street to Target, grab some groceries, come back. It's like 3:30. I call down. I go, hey, I'm assuming I can, but like, can I use the bathroom? They're like, no, it's gonna be another like probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. You can come use the one on the first floor. It's public though. Like, I really don't want to use a public bathroom. If I wanted to do that, I could have just slept in my car at a truck stop and had the same experience I got here. You know what I mean? I'm really paying for my own room. And they're like, all right, sir, I understand, but you can go to the bathroom, just don't flush. And I'm like, am I an animal? Like, I'm not going to just leave shit in the toilet all day. You've told me it's going to be an hour for the past 8 hours at this point. And they're like, all right. Well, if you need to come down here, otherwise just wait a little bit. So I call the real HR at this point. And I am like, hey guys, I don't want to be this guy. I never call to complain, but literally I've stayed at your hotel every week since this pandemic started, through your company. I'm at a different location, so I know they don't know me, but like, this is what I'm dealing with here. And they're like, well, it sounds like you could use the one on the second floor. It's a public bathroom. And I'm like, I get that, but I could have also just crashed it for free at a truck stop, paid for, you know what I mean? And I would have gotten a private bathroom, my own private bathroom for a couple hours. And they're like, all right, I get it. And they're like, but we really aren't obligated. We can't control plumbing. And I'm like, ma'am, the Declaration of Independence promised me 3 things: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I don't give a fuck about being happy. I just want empty bowels. And she was like, all right, we'll work on it. And I was like, I want a refund at this point. And she's like, okay, we'll have to wait till you check out. So I go down to the front desk and I'm like, guys, something needs to happen here. I can't deal with this. They're like, sir, I understand. This is ridiculous. Here's like a voucher for breakfast. Here's this. We're really sorry. There's nothing we can do. Like, I'm sorry. I'm out of options. And like, the woman's being honest with me now. It's not the over the phone shit. We're face to face. And I go, I get it. No worries. I go back to my room. About 20 minutes later, there's a knock on the door and it's her. And she goes, HR just called me. What the fuck, dude? I thought we were cool. And I was like, yeah, my bad. I called him before. And then she moved me to a new room that had a working toilet.
Oh.
After 9 hours, because I started to feel bad. I was like, maybe I'm being a diva here. The whole fucking time, Frank, they had another bathroom I could have used. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it me for having a meltdown and threatening to never stay at a Holiday Inn again? Is it the front desk for just fucking lying to me? Or is it society for making pooping in public less comfortable?
This is an easy one. I mean, this is a layup. I mean, this is exactly like last week when I was in the hospital room without heat.
No, you had to say that. Now we lost Pat.
Well, fuck Pat. I mean, if he wants to jump in with something, let him jump in. I'm tired of just sitting here and he makes fun of me. So listen, it's definitely the hotel's fault. They had a room available and they didn't give it to you. It's all on them. They are the biggest piece of shit turd you ever did see in your life.
Thank you. Could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
Pat, tell me why I'm wrong.
I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I do have to ask a question first before I say anything. When was the time where you actually were given the room, the new room? Can I ask, was it before or after 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
It was after. However,
do you know where I'm going with this?
Occupied.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No. She said, because I was like, oh, did you get it clean? She was like, no, actually, we just had this one. And that's like, so okay, I did find that out.
Okay. But there also might be other circumstances to the reason why it was occupied. Maybe there has been a murder in that room. Maybe they're not supposed to give it out. Maybe it was reserved for someone who didn't come and they couldn't do. There could be reasons why. Well, a lot of the hotel chains, like you deal with, I'm not defending them. I'm just saying a lot of them have to keep so many open for apps, like booking.com, things like that, hotel.com, to have rooms set up. So that could have been always one they have to hold on to, especially if someone's going to pay more to give them that bathroom. There could be a reason why you weren't given.
Yes.
I don't think you're wrong for complaining. Now, it is a public bathroom thing as opposed to a private room bathroom. So it's a little bit less of an argument as if you were paying for a room with all the amenities. Once you're in any kind of hostile situation or anything where there's a public bathroom, there's a lot of usage there. yes, you are made aware that it's a public bathroom and there's one on every floor. Is it inconvenience? Of course it is. But at the same time, if you were looking for inconvenience, don't stay at a fucking Holiday Inn.
Hostel.
But
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a dickhead in that way, but like you pay, the more money you pay, the better place you go to, the better chance you have you're going to have your own toilet. If you were staying at Mohegan Sun when Frank stays there and stuff like that, that would not have been an issue. With the amount of money that's being put into those places and stuff like that, they would have got you a new room, or there would have been a plumber on his day off, even if it was Thanksgiving, fixing it in front of you to make sure they were okay. And they would have scalped the guy afterwards for not getting it done enough time. The problem I have with your argument is that you did do something that's not a normal Bobby thing. You were kind of cool about it at the beginning. If you threw the fit that a normal Bobby does, the Bobby we've seen on our podcast walking up with his phone to the front. Now, I know this is not your normal front desk. You were in a different place, same place. So, yes, you don't have the same comfortability that you normally do at the place where you feel like it's home at this point. But the regular make a stink Bobby would have gotten that room without ever having to call HR, because you would have already told them that you called HR and not have actually called them and said, I've already spoken to him. What's her name? Barbara? Because you just guess something like that. They're like, oh, fuck, he talked to Barbara. And they wouldn't even know. And they've already told me that I could have two things, another room and your job. Don't feel like having a shitty job. So how will we get you the other room? And you would have been in the other room right away. The fact that you kind of gave this woman a little bit of shit, but not a lot, and then she, in her time, thinks she's doing the best. She's scrambling. She has no power. She's calling managers. She's probably getting herself in trouble for giving out a voucher. She sounds like a nice lady who's probably given out too many vouchers and is probably going to get in trouble for doing that. And then after running around and doing whatever this little bitch could do in her best power, even though it's not much, comes up to you and thinks she did it all. Before she gets to you, gets a phone call being threatened, because for her to go to you and say, what the fuck? That means she got screamed at by higher ups. You know, Bobby working in retail. Frank knows we haven't many jobs dealing with people like that. She got screamed at for something that was out of her fucking control and is being told that a guy who spends money with us is unhappy. And we're tired of you making people unhappy. You bitch, you're going to lose your job. And she's like, I just tried everything. Well, everything wasn't enough. Now throw those other people. You know that room we saved for, like, Mr. Inn, Mr. Holiday Inn? He's not coming. So you give that to Mr. Tamburo, Dr. Tamburo, and you give it to him. You could have gotten that room earlier and faster, is all I'm saying, if you were normally yourself.
Oh,
At the end of the day, the pieces of shit are the Holiday Inns. Why are we still doing public bathrooms? Spend the money, put a bathroom in each room.
No, there is a bathroom in each room. There
is
is
a public bathroom.
No. There was a public one you could use. That's the only point I want to clarify.
Okay.
So, in the lobby, how they have a bathroom that anybody can use.
Yeah.
They were like, you can go use that.
Oh, okay, then fuck that. Never mind. That's changing the hostile part.
So I get where you're coming from there. If it had been a public, and I do get me causing a stink, and part of it's on me, because the guys at the one I'm at right now are the shit. There are two people, one opens, one closes, that are always there, and they just take care of it. I come in, they're like,
it sounds like this lady's pretty much the shit too, though. She tried.
Let me just explain. It snowed one day. And the company here that does the plowing out front didn't snow. So you know who was out front shoveling? Not the housekeeping people.
The lady.
The homeboy, the manager, the general manager was out there shoveling. And that's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt, because he is that great. And this woman is so great. And then this woman probably was, but just didn't try. So my point is, if it had happened here, the dude with the chain on would have been down there with his suit sleeves rolled up and with a plunger figuring out what the fuck's going on.
Bobby, I'm going to give you another option. I think that this is what I would have done. Okay. I waited long enough. They didn't satisfy my needs. I have to go. I'm not using a public bathroom. I would have opened up the tank, see if there was water in it. If there was water in it, I would have went and flushed. And whatever happens, happens. Your turd would have went down the toilet. It may not have refilled, but it would have went down the toilet. If there was no water in the tank, I would have got the ice bucket, filled it with water, and keep on filling up the tank until it was loaded. Then I would have taken my dump, and then I would have flushed.
I did think about that, believe it or
not. Can I ask this question?
Sure.
Do you know if this was a plumbing issue in just your room or the whole floor?
It was by side of the building and then by floor. So basically they fixed the other side of the building first, Then they started at the first floor, and I was on the top.
Frank, do you know where I'm going with this? Bobby loves to do pranks. This is something that you and Alan Abel could have done. All you had to do is pull your pants down a little bit, just show a little bit of butt crack. The rest of you already looks like a plumber. You walk through the other side of that fucking place. You knock on their door and say, "I have to look at your bathroom." You go in. You take
that
a
would have been
shit.
great.
You fucking leave.
I did have a little. I did have a
one.
little spirit of Frank in me, because as I was checking out the next morning, it was a little awkward, obviously, like between me and that woman. And she was like, "Hey, sorry again about kind of giving you attitude yesterday." And I was like, "It's all good. I just have an emergency colonoscopy tomorrow." So I was a little on edge as is, and things were getting backed up, and just kind of walked out and left her to think maybe he did take all that colon blow medicine before he read the note.
I like how she's like, "Did everything go okay? Like, how was your breakfast that I've lost my job over?"
I didn't use the voucher.
That makes it worse. Because then
if
they're
you
like, he didn't
eat
even
somebody-
use the vouchers. They probably kept a marker on it to know if they did.
Well, you got to keep that edge of cuntiness about you. Hope to see you again soon. Wouldn't hold my breath, and then you just walk out, fist held up in the air like that 80s movie.
Right.
Don't you
Forget about me. But also, wait, so the one you were at was in New Jersey. The one you're normally at's in New York City, correct?
Manhattan, yeah.
Yeah. So we already understand why the service is better at one than the other, why the effort is there, because New Yorkers, at the end of the day, assholes, they can be the stereotype, love effort and hard work. They appreciate that. In New Jersey, they all do that shit, but they also don't have that same eye on them nonstop. So I get why one guy would be shoveling out front and the lady maybe not shoveling out front. But then again, she might not have to do, she didn't have to do anything. She could have just said, "Sir, it's out of my control. Sorry."
Yeah, that's true. That is true. All good points.
If this was Dick's Sporting Goods and someone came up to you in the bike department and said, "Hey, the bathroom's not working," you go, "Sorry, buddy, maybe you want to shit your pants." That's what you would have done.
No. Okay, Pat. No. I would have said maybe if you use the
Frank, of
bathroom
all the
at your
stories he's
house-
told on here, wouldn't you expect
I
Bobby
would've
telling him to
said-
fuck off and shit
Hang
on a
on.
bike?
I would have said maybe if you use the bathroom at your house, this wouldn't be a problem.
See?
That's what I would have said. The joke of it all, though, is who would end up cleaning the fucking toilets? Dick's me. It would be me. I would be the guy who ended up having to go in there and plumb it. They'd be like, "Just take care of it, Bobby," and I would, because I'm like the dude with the chain on here. Right,
I don't know why you just didn't go into Gino's car where he was sleeping and shit in there.
That's the thing, though. Like, all kidding aside, Gino was at the Dombrowski's, and that's why I didn't sleep at somebody else's house in New Jersey, because I hate shitting in somebody else's toilet.
Yeah.
I don't like public interactions in the bathroom.
See, I just would have, and this sounds wrong, and I'm being serious. I'm not going for a joke. If I knew, were you going to stay one more night?
Yeah.
Even regardless,
That's where the issue
I would have
was.
complained about it, and I would have shit in that toilet.
Honestly, when I went down the last time, but like when everything got smoothed over, they were like, "Look, if you gotta go, just fucking go."
Yeah, because they were gonna
Like,
fix
no.
it
Yeah.
anyway, and I would have just shit in it, and then that would have sucked for the plumber. But I would have shit in the toilet and then bidetted my ass in the shower.
Oh yeah, that definitely happened.
Dingleberries all over the place.
All over.
That's it.
It went from being white tiled to speckled marble, if you know what I'm saying, Frank.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I wouldn't know what you were saying. There was no hidden agenda in what you just said. It
I
was
feel like it's weird. We put him in there with 2 unopened rolls of toilet paper. He left with 2 unopened rolls of toilet paper.
I don't know if there was extra Splenda in Frank's coffee just now, but when we said dingleberries and speckle, he made a face while drinking the coffee like he swallowed something that must have been like a dingleberry. Frank, of all the fucked up things Frank says, dingleberry seems to throw him off the most. There was 2 things that didn't exist in the 50s: pedophilia and dingleberries.
Dingleberries. No, dingleberries. Seriously, dingleberries came in the late 70s. It was a reference to the Andy Griffin show.
Yes,
If I'm not mistaken. That's where it came from.
it wasn't from Willy Wonka. Your father, Gene Wilder. The dingleberries smell like dingleberries.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, this actually happened.
All right, then we're ending on this. Go ahead.
Okay. Alan Abel he was in a car accident and he broke his arm. And his shoulder.
That's a great
most
prank,
of-
Frank. All right,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, so what happens? He calls me up. He was living in Easton, Connecticut at the time, and I'm living in Westport. He calls me up and he said, "Frank, you got to do me a favor, okay? I went to the bathroom. I'm here by myself and I can't flush the toilet. Could you please come over and flush the toilet? I said, are you serious? He goes, yes, I'm begging you. Could you please come up? I said, okay. So I stop off at the local deli in Westport. I get a couple of pastrami sandwiches from Oscar's. It was great. I go up there and I couldn't believe the amount of shit in that toilet. And I had a fucking, he had it closed, but me and, you know, the curiosity that I have, I had to open the fucking lid to see what was in there. And there was an enormous amount of shit, perfectly formed. That impressed me more than anything else.
The prankster left the toilet seat down. The prankster left it down and was like, Frank, I'm going to do you the service. You don't want to see this. And you had to open it anyway.
No, Bobby, the prankster knows his disciple. And he knew that curiosity killed the Frank. And he knew that Frank had to look. Think about it, Frank's name rhymes with prank. That's how he's born for this. Like he knew that if he left it open, Frank wouldn't have been as mad. But Frank, he knows, had to go look in it. We all would have looked, by the way. No, there's nobody that wouldn't have looked.
Yeah. I'm thinking about this now. I mean, how did he wipe his ass? I mean, if he couldn't flush, who wiped his ass?
What do you mean?
Somebody had to wipe that ass.
Why?
You don't take that dump. Those kind of
no, but I mean, like, you don't. I know he couldn't flush, but you don't think he could wipe?
Well, this is the same thing. I mean, going like this, or
it's more of a. It is more.
It's not a good wipe. It's not a good wipe.
No, it wasn't a good wipe.
No, definitely not a good wipe, but it's still a wipe.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe a bidet in the shower, like I said, the old school move where you use Puerto Rican shower your cheeks, and that was not a racial slur. That's just a term.
Yeah. I don't know. Just a story.
Well, thank you for that shitty story. But Frank, where can people? This is going to come out. I don't know when, so you can make the Thursday show. It should be out by.
I ever saw you. This was great, dude. You killed it tonight, buddy.
Who? Pat?
You? No,
me.
You. Yeah, man.
That. Well, I mean, there was no.
It felt great.
I mean, you didn't have any guests out. I had to bring my A game. You know, so you do it. You step up for the team. You know what I mean?
You know,
and then you're humble about it too.
Yes.
Sometimes you just bring your A.
How many more times at my age could I step up to the plate? How many more times? Let's be honest.
I mean, based on the night, a ton.
According to Pat, not too many.
Well, that's okay. But Bobby, to be fair, the guy steps up to the plate once a month. You know what I mean? He doesn't play every day.
No, they pick a spot.
At least according to Bobby, I'm hitting home runs. I'm not going up there and sacrificing every week. I'm going up there batting. I'm going up there batting.
You know what? With this show, I'm sacrificing every fucking week.
On that note, go see Frank at Comics Mohegan Sun. If it's out in time this Thursday, if not, he's got another show next Thursday. Where can they see you, Frank? Where do they get tickets for that?
You could get comics at Mohegan Sun. I'll be there the 3rd of February and the 17th of February, and we'll have Pat there too.
And I guess you got America's sweetheart Dan Brown.
Oh, and Dan Brown, yes,
he'll be there as well, and a bunch of other shitheads.
It's Mr. Steal My Job. Go ahead.
Yes, he's gonna steal both of your jobs. Mike O'Donnell and Dan Brown will be these two squares soon enough. That'll be a pretty good show. Or Manny. I think Manny might be a good fit. We may need some like flavor in there. But Bobby, where can people see you now that he can't see you on Eastside Tom Jameson?
Well, I like to think the Eastside Dave show lives on in all of our hearts. So just think about.
Does that mean you're going to double down and promote our show even more now?
Every Tuesday at 7:30. I like to think if you think about me, I'll be thinking about you. Yeah, I will be promoting our show. I've got some stuff in the works of my own. I feel like Eastside Dave will be back eventually. You never know. I am at Broadway this Saturday. Pat, thank you for pushing that out there. Guys, it's a bringer show. It's an audition that I have to bring a certain number of people to get to audition. So thank you for helping me hit that number. And I'll probably hit you up a couple more times for this. I'm just trying to get past in the clubs in New York right now. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So I really appreciate it. I've been down in the dumps the past week or so because of Eastside Dave. And yesterday, seeing all of my friends and comedians post that and share, initiated by you, Pat. Like really jump on that train for me for a show that I'm gonna probably perform 5 minutes at. Was pretty sick. So
I didn't see, if you notice, they didn't promote it that way.
No,
Because
no,
when
no,
people
you
do
did it.
that, it fucks it up. I'm just like, go see Bobby. And,
Yeah,
and you know what? Shout out to my brother shared it. Mike O'Donnell shared it. Manny shared it. People got your back,
You
brother.
commented on it today?
We all should believe in you, and people should know I believed in you first. That's
Did
all
you
that
see who
matters.
commented on it today. The man, the myth, the legend we always talk about. Earl David Reed commented on your post and was like, "Hell yeah, dude!" So I just want to say thank you to everybody who did that. I know I complain a lot. It was awesome. You guys really put me in a good mood. It made me feel really touched. So thank you very much.
Yeah. And if you live around the city and you're like, I'm a comic, why don't I get to be on the POS podcast? If you're a comic and you live around the city and you go to Bobby's fucking show, you get to be on the podcast.
We'll put you in Frank's spot.
Yeah. Frank will be a guest and you can be the announcer.
Exactly.
Frank will still be on it because he's bringing his A game now, apparently.
Dude, he's been on fire lately.
Yes.
I'm
And we'll be recording a second show and Frank will be in bed, even though I have to get up at 3:30 for work and Frank has to get up at 3:30 because he's eating. All right. So yeah, you know what? That's my promotion. Go see Bobby. Go. If you can't go, tell people about it. Find my post on Facebook, share it yourself and say, hey, if you're gonna be in the city and go see Bobby. And it's gonna be a great show. Broadway Comedy Club puts on good shows. The shows they use to push other comics and get them into the place are not like bringer shows in the shitty regard. They're a really good show in the city with good comics and a great lineup with pros on the show. You never know who's gonna step in. You might see some people you've seen on TV or heard on podcasts that you like, and you're gonna see Bobby and support him. So get on there, smoke some weed with Bobby afterwards, and support him. And have fun with that. And if you want to support anything else, go over on our Patreon, $3 a month. See me be racist on there. Not like here where I'm loving and wonderful. Frank, it was always a pleasure seeing you again. I will see you on Thursday, my friend. Bobby.
If you can't join him, beat him. And remember, don't be a piece of shit.